Hey everyone, today I'm back in Lost Ark with my very first Hell mode clear. Now, when it comes down to Hell mode in Lost Ark, it's something that I've always been interested in because I really like Lost Ark. I want to enjoy all of the content that the game has to offer, but Hell mode has never really been something that I was very motivated to go in and do. Something that I've always been interested in because it's like the hardest content there is. I enjoy doing hard content in Final Fantasy XIV, so with Lost Ark being kind of like my new favorite game, I would have liked to experience that hard content in this game as well, but because of how the daily and weekly raid situation is on Lost Ark, you already put in so many hours every week that going in Hell mode on top of that, especially if it's one of the harder ones, putting in so many extra hours, it never really appealed to me that much because I already play God knows how many hours a week of Lost Ark to just get my normal raids done and my dailies and such, that I didn't really feel like adding another extra couple hours on top of that every week to go and proc a Hell mode raid. However, my static had already been interested in doing Hell mode before. They had almost cleared Hell Valtan before, a couple of months back, which was before I joined the static. And then more recently we had two new members who had cleared all the Hell modes before, and they were very happy to go and help us out, teach us the fights, etc. So eventually we just kind of decided to just go back in and see what it is like. Now, when it comes to Hell Valtan, I know that it is a much easier fight than it used to be. It's also the easiest of the Hell modes to learn, but also because classes like Slayer now exists, because of class balance changes, there's a lot of power creep, and we are much stronger now than we used to be for what the content is designed. Now, I guess I'm kind of familiar with that coming from Final Fantasy XIV and having the old ultimates be kind of a joke now when it comes down to the DPS check, and I guess it's kind of similar in Lost Ark now that especially Valtan and Vicus and such are much easier than they used to be back in the day on release because of the power creep that has happened to the classes. Nevertheless though, I do feel like this was a pretty good experience. Like, I got to experience the fight on min item level again with all of these extra little tidbits added to it. Valtan has been my favorite fight when it came down to the Legion mode raids because it just feels the best in my opinion. So that's why I've always wanted to try Hell Valtan at least once, or get this clear and then just call it there when it comes down to the Hell modes. But this actually got me a little bit more interested in doing the Hell mode raiding stuff, because you just get to experience the fights in a much more like good setting, I guess you could say. It's a bit hard to explain, but like whenever you go into raids nowadays, you just overgear things so quickly, and even when you do stuff on item level, I remember back to when we proc Brelshaza Gate 6 back in the day, that we already had to hold DPS just because we couldn't like DPS it further because the meteors had to drop and such, and that just didn't really feel that good. And then once you start doing the fights a couple times and you go a few more weeks down the road, you just start overgearing fights so quickly. And with these Hell mode raids you don't have that. You get to see all of the mechanics, you have to do the normal patterns, it's not just big mechanic after big mechanic, and I really enjoyed that. You have to push your DPS, you have to know how to DPS, you need to know how all of the normal patterns work so that you don't just get completely destroyed by just getting hit by an attack. And it was very satisfying to end up playing it all the way through to the end. Now, when it came down to Hell Valtan, we ended up doing it in 2 sessions. On the first run that we did last week, I did feel like my Gate 1 was much better than the one that you're seeing in the background, but we just went in for a second session, which is the one that we cleared on. For that one, on Gate 1, I struggled a little bit more than I would have liked to, but when it came down to Gate 2, we of course ended up making it all the way to the end, and I was also alive at the end, which is what I am really happy about. Personally, I don't think we should have cleared on this pull because we had so many dead people by the end, but of course power creep exists, so we ended up making it to the end anyways. But I was still alive at the end, and that is what I personally only care about. I was quite happy with my performance on Gate 2, did good damage, stayed alive, did the mechanics. That's all that I really care about. But yeah, Hell mode was a pretty fun experience. I would probably be down that if we find some extra time here or there, to maybe go and do Vicus or Kakel'Cedon. I'm a little bit more interested in trying those out now, because Hell Valtan was a pretty fun experience. I think if we would have spent more time on it, like needing a 3rd or a 4th session, maybe the fun would have dropped a little bit more. But for now, I feel like the time commitment to the clear, it felt pretty good. And I hope we can kind of continue doing that going into the future. But yeah, that's kind of everything I wanted to say. If you have any more questions about kind of like my first impressions or whatever, feel free to leave them in the comments. Maybe I'll do like a follow-up video whenever I have cleared more Hell mode raids. if that does end up happening, but that is something that we will see about in the future. For now, I want to thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of the video.
I can't send you there!